What's going on, everybody? I just got back from the game, so apologize for the late live show. I'll be honest, I am absolutely disgusted by this performance. Absolutely. Kenneth Walker, the second, had 172 yards of rushing, 27 carries. He averaged 6.5 yards per carry. Peyton Thorne, 18 out of 31, 261 passing yards, 4 TDs, zero interceptions. We made him look like Michael Vick at times. It was like Noah's Ark, or I don't know if you're into that biblical theory, departing the waves. He ran for like 30 yards on one carry. It was disgusting. I am exhausted over this incompetence. I'll say it to you this: our tackling is poor. The angles we take, everything is just disgusting. This is on coaching. Nonetheless, our receivers, Will Mallory, I'm over Will Mallory. I'll leave it at that. Our receivers dropped a lot of passes. Charleston Rambo was probably our best wide receiver today. Mike Harley did make a couple big catches, but overall, I am disgusted by this performance. You just lost to a Michigan State football team that went 2-5 this past season. I don't care if it was a COVID season. I don't care if it was a regular season. They went 2-5. They won 2 football games. Okay. And they beat you at home by 21 points. This is an utter embarrassment. Where do we go from here? I don't know. I think the conversation needs to take place with Manny Diaz. He is not the guy. Okay, he has never won a big football game as a defensive coordinator, as a head coach. He has been here since 2016. This is his personnel on the defense. Okay, these are the players he has recruited defensively. He has not developed these players whatsoever. Please name me one recruit, one player in the program where Manny Diaz has recruited from high school that has developed and done great things at the University of Miami besides Gregory Rousseau. That is not from the transfer portal. Please name me one player. This was an awful hire, and this goes directly towards Blake James as well. This is what happens when you hire someone in a 6-hour time span. Okay, this is what happens. Okay, you make coaching hires in 6 hours. You hire Temple's second choice. Mike Elko was Temple's first choice, and you hire Manny Diaz. And this is what happens over time. This is the most disgusting performance I've seen from the Miami Hurricanes. I'm disgusted. To be honest, where do we go from here? I'm curious to hear what you guys think. Bringing on my co-host Ross to join the scoop. Ross, what's going on, man? How you doing?
Man, just we got done with our Mark Rogers post game show and came and jump on here on the scoop for sure, so we can keep it rolling, man. I mean, this was absolutely embarrassing, absolutely embarrassing.
So I guess Michigan State has like 41 players from the transfer portal, and they beat us by 21 points. So they outdid Manny Diaz's scheme with the transfer portal. We made Peyton Thorne look at times like Michael Vick or Lamar Jackson. He ran literally. There was one play where he took off for 30 yards. Like,
Yeah.
he's not the most mobile quarterback out there. He's not Pat White. He's not Lamar Jackson. Michael Vick. I don't know where to begin. Our tackling is awful. Where do you want to start with the game? I mean, where do you want to begin? Because I can literally go on a rant about Manny Diaz. How much I'm over this. I'm over this turnover chain. I'm over the touchdown rings, the new chains every year. I'm disgusted by it. What's the excuse from the fan base or those who pull for Manny Diaz after this game? Because we just lost to a 2-5 Michigan State team. So Ross, I'll hand it over to you.
It's the same crap every damn week. We don't see any changes. We don't see anything clever. We don't even see attempts to be clever, even to fake out our own damn fan base by throwing us off. We don't even see that, dude. It's just ridiculous. I mean, we have this guy who's our head coach, who is supposed to be this amazing defensive coordinator, but yet the longer guys stay in his system, the worse they look. Literally, our linebacking core is atrocious, atrocious.
Oh, no, this is the worst linebacker personnel I've seen at Miami since I can recall. I was born in 1994, okay? I've seen games at the Orange Bowl. I went to the Rose Bowl. I went to the Fiesta Bowl. This is the worst linebacker core. I think D'Onofrio evaluated better linebackers than Manny Diaz during his tenure. I can't recall someone that Manny Diaz has recruited besides Gregory Rousseau that has developed through his tenure as a defensive coordinator or overseeing this program. I can't recall one player that isn't from the transfer portal or Gregory Rousseau that he handpicked, recruited, that has developed. Jonathan Garvin slowly got worse during his career at Miami. I think it was his underclassmen years where he had like a good amount of sacks, and then he left early his junior year. This is atrocious. I am disgusted. I'm tired of this. I never liked the Manny Diaz hire. I liked his vision of the transfer portal. For some reason, we didn't want to take Jawan Mitchell because we were scared guys like Bradley Jennings and what's the other guy? Corey Flagg, Wayman Steen would transfer. They're fucking awful. I cursed. I'm sorry.
Well, I mean, you called it the way it is. These guys are awful. They shouldn't be starting or getting big snaps for the University of Miami ever. This is how far we've sunk. I mean, this is, like you said, this is the worst linebacking core you've seen. Well, Paul, I was born in 82, and this is the worst linebacking core I have ever seen at Miami too. So, I mean, about 10 years difference between me and you there.
Yeah.
I have, in that 10 years time, I never saw anything even close to looking this bad. At minimum, when we didn't have a lot of talent, we at least had guys with heart, guys who went out there and busted their ass every snap.
We just lost to a 2-5 Michigan State team last year. They just came in to our home field in Hard Rock Stadium and won by 21 points. Kenneth Walker, the second, had 172 yards of rushing. Okay, that's 6.5 yards per carry. This is a baby UNC. I mean, no, it's not a baby UNC, but he literally ran all over us. Like everybody was saying, they played nobodies. They played Northwestern, Youngstown State. 174 rushing yards. Dude, that's impressive. I don't care who you're playing. I tip my hat off to Michigan State. I love Mel Tucker. I love what he's building at Michigan State. Miami will never get a taste of that because your coaching staff is horrendous. Coach Packey, his resume is nothing towards the Miami standard. Manny Diaz, his resume is nothing towards the Miami standard. You are 0 for 2 on offensive coordinators. Dan Enos was a swing and miss. Rhett Lashley, awful. Awful. I mean, literally atrocious. I am disgusted. Blake James, this is on you, buddy. Okay, you stood with Manny Diaz. You gave Temple $4 million. Okay, not $1 million, not $2 million. You gave him $4 million for Coach Manny Diaz, not Chip Kelly, not Mario Cristobal. You gave Temple $4 million for their second choice. Mike Elko was their first choice. This is disgusting. I am over this. I'm over the turnover chains. I'm over the touchdown rings. I'm tired of getting new jewelry every year, which, by the way, Manny Diaz, I think he owns. So if he gets fired, he can sell it for a lot of money. More than
he owns it.
Value. I believe Manny Diaz is the one who buys the jewelry, and then he can resell it if he wants to. This is disgusting. I'm tired of it. I'm over the new Miami. This is the new Miami. I want the Randy Shannon Miami. I don't care. I'll take the Al Golden Miami. This is disgusting. I'm grossed out by it.
You know, and all the stuff you said there, Paul, you know, and I agree with absolutely everything you said. And then it all accumulates into a 5-year deal for our coach.
5 years.
5 years. 5 freaking years for a guy who really wasn't even Miami caliber in the first place. Yeah, sure, he was a Miami caliber DC for a little bit, but even then it started to fall off. So I just don't get it, dude. It was a very lazy move by Blake James. And when you're lazy, you get bad football.
I'll tell you this. Dan Mullen, Mario Cristobal, okay? Ed Orgeron. I'll even throw his name out there. There are several coaches. Kirby Smart was interested in the Miami Hurricanes football job.
Yeah.
Okay? There were several coaches interested in this football job. Okay? Over the time, you went with Mark Richt. Conservative hire. I'll be honest. I think that was a pretty solid hire at the time. Looking at his resume, I'll take it. Then it trickles down to Manny Diaz. That was horrendous. Okay, I'd rather take Rex Ryan because there were headlines that Rex Ryan was interested in the job, whatever. This is what happens when you take Temple's second choice. Okay, this is what happens. This is the University of Miami. We're home to 5 national titles. We had the longest home game winning streak, NCAA records, 58 home game winning streaks at the Orange Bowl. Okay? We're home to 2 Heisman Trophy winners, and you lose to Michigan State by 21, year 2 under Mel Tucker, which, by the way, Mark D'Antonio, he left that program in another mess, in a disgusting mess. They won 2 football games this past season, And under a COVID season, I don't care. They went 2-5, and you lose to them by 21. That is disgusting. I am disgusted over this program. I don't know where we go from here, but I'll tell you this: we're in deep shit. We're in
Yep.
deep shit because I'll tell you what, we go to Chapel Hill against UNC, and Manny Diaz probably already said in the press conference. I didn't even look at the comments. Oh, we still have the Coastal to play for.
Oh yeah.
Buddy,
Yeah. Yeah.
buddy, Sam Howell's going to put up 500 yards on your ass. Sam Howell's a damn good quarterback. Virginia Tech has a solid defense. I like, honestly, we are literally in a deep hole if we get rid of Manny Diaz. Because who the hell wants this job? You think Shiano wants this job? You think Greg Shiano wants this job? By the way, Chip Kelly's buyout's like $9 million.
Yeah. Yeah. It happened.
Who the hell are we going to hire?
We're not going to be able to
never come back.
No, Cristobal's not coming back to this mess. I know fans want to say his name. It's the popular thing to throw out there right now. Not only would he not want to be involved in this, but he has the Nike machine working for him at Oregon. He's got the fans that love him. He's got a whole state that has his back, basically, and he's getting success there. Like, I know people want to say, well, Miami's his dream job. Miami's dream job. Is it? But is it, though? Is it just his dream job because maybe he played here, but it's not the wise job? You know what I'm saying? Like, maybe it's the dream job, but maybe it's not the right way to go. And he's a smart guy. So I don't think he's going to go backwards. He's not going to leave the Nike machine to come down to screw around with Adidas in Miami. It's just not going to happen.
Atrocious loss. There's no excuses behind this. You lose by 21 against Mel Tucker's Michigan State football team, who is legitimately rebuilding. Manny Diaz has his face of college football quarterback returning. The entire offensive line is returning. You had your running back personnel returning. Don Chaney got injured. Jalen Knighton suspended for like 6 games. It's not working running the football middle of the field. Like, it's not fooling anyone. It's not rocket science, Rhett Lashley. By the way, that honestly, Dan Enos or Rhett Lashley, who's a better OC? That's a fair argument. That is a fair argument. That is fair. That is fair.
That's something dude, that makes my stomach sick to even think about it. Dude, what we did today is we lost to Mel Tucker's transfers, and he beat out our recruits that we developed. That's what happened today. His transfers that came in that barely even know his system.
41 players, Ross.
Yeah, the guys that barely even know Mel Tucker's system came in and ran it better than the guys that Manny Diaz has been his hands on this entire time. This is all Manny Diaz's defense. By the way,
I hate singling out someone, Ross, but the Will Mallory project. That's got to go. I'm over the Will Mallory train. Elijah Arroyo, next man up. I don't know if Larry Hodges, I feel like he's injured or always suspended.
Yeah.
Next man up. Like, seriously.
What happened? Is this a mental thing with Mallory?
I have no idea. It could be. Mark Pope went through the same thing.
Wiggins?
The issue with these guys is that they get open. They don't catch the football.
Yeah. They do the hard work. They do the hardest part of it is actually getting separation and getting open. You know, when Mallory made the move that he made to settle down in the zone right where he did in the end zone there and not go push it further, that was an intelligent move. He read the defense. He saw where he had his place to be open, and he stood there. But if you can't catch the ball, it doesn't matter how smart you are. It doesn't matter at all if you can't do the most basic things that you're asked to do.
So we got Central Connecticut State next week. Does anybody even care? Like, honestly, are we going to, what's the spread for that game? Like 2 touchdowns, if anything? Defensively, Ross, how do you think we played? Tyreek Stevenson got I thought he played a decent game until the end. I mean, he got literally burnt.
Yeah, one-on-one.
Burnt at the end.
Yeah, one-on-one, that was pretty tough there. My question to you, and I didn't get a chance to see that defense. Maybe you saw something different than I did on that play. Where the hell were our safeties?
I don't know. That's a great call. Yeah, that's an outstanding question because I have no idea either. I
didn't see him even on the replay.
Yeah. Once I saw the receiver blow past Tyreek Stevenson, I took off. I'm like, this shit's over. This is over.
I just don't get it. There's the idea that T-Rob was supposed to come in and update our secondary. He's not being allowed to. I don't think, because this is the same soft crap we've always seen from Manny Diaz's secondaries. This is nothing new. Playing off 5-10 yards and that stuff.
Now, by the way, Cam Kitchens, James Williams, they came into the game for 2 snaps. For literally 2 snaps, and they rotated in Gervin Hall and Bubba Bolden. Now, here's my thing. We rotate our defense quite a lot, specifically our linebackers. Why don't we rotate our safeties? Why? What is the obsession over a guy who wears 26, which is, you'll never be Sean Taylor, by the way. You will never be Sean Taylor.
Take
Don't
off
even
that
wear that
jersey.
jersey. That should be
Take off that
retired.
jersey.
Bubba Bolden is the most overrated safety. I mean, pass coverage and tackling, it's horrendous. I don't know what's the obsession over him. Why not? If you're gonna rebuild Manny Diaz, why not do it now? Why not do it now? By the way, James Williams didn't play well. He had multiple penalties on him this game, on special teams and on the field as well. No, I'm thoroughly disgusted by this performance. I literally can go on rants about this right now. Yeah, I'm pretty pissed. I'm really fucking pissed. We have 100 people joining us 17 minutes in. Thank you so much. We greatly appreciate it. I just got back from the game. Running the football is not working at Miami. This offense is entirely not in sync. Diaz King is a different quarterback this year, in my opinion. He has a raggedy arm.
Yeah. Decision making, throwing late passes, the hesitancy.
You're on a lonely island.
When you have hesitancy like that, you're going to make mistakes. It's just the way it is. I mean, you can't double think football. You have to play naturally. Things have to come at a well-timed, natural kind of a pace. Once you go out there and you make one hitch or one hesitation, especially as a quarterback, and then you decide to make that late throw, bro, that's when you get interceptions. That's when you get really easy interceptions thrown to the secondary. But, dude, this run game, I completely agree. Second down runs between the tackles, it's a freaking joke, dude. It's an absolute joke. If Lashley thinks that by doing this over and over and over again in games means that maybe in the third or fourth quarter it'll open up one 15-yard play later, it's not worth it. It's not worth it. Go for the gusto every drive. Go for the throat every drive. Stop trying to plan for the third and fourth quarter. Put up some freaking points in the beginning of the game.
Yeah. Here's the thing, too. A lot of people have been saying Diaz King can't see over the line of scrimmage. I think I agree at times. Restrepo was wide open. There were times Harley was wide open. I understand Will Mallory can't catch the football, but he was wide open. Our wide receivers were fairly open the entire game. I don't get it. He's missing his reads. It hurts. It really hurts right now because I felt like we could have easily won this football game and we left a lot of points on the board. A lot of points.
What's the difference between King here and King at SMU? He didn't shrink since he got to Miami. He was the same height when he was there. The deep passes and the pocket play was so much more comfortable. And it's not like their offensive line is like, a JV size compared to ours. They still had decent sized guys on that offensive line. They got plenty of guys taller than King, that's for sure. So I don't know what happened in that aspect. I really don't. But I don't see the SMU King anymore in multiple ways.
No, absolutely. I was trying to look up how many sacks they got on Diaz King because
Houston King, excuse me, not SMU, Houston. Sorry.
Yeah, Houston King. No. SMU were at Lashley, by the way.
Yeah.
Like they put up like literally 41 points a game, 48, some stupid Madden number. No, we're not seeing it this year. This is atrocious. I was trying to look up how many sacks they got on Miami because supposedly, when we spoke with Stu and Jonathan Spiro, the Michigan State guys, we should have easily dominated the battle of the trenches. They had Miami winning this game. Listen, man, our O-line is awful, and it's year 2, and everyone returned, which is scary. Where's the improvement on that? Navon Donaldson, been here since what, 09? I'm being sarcastic. He's been here for like 5 years or 6 years. I have not seen any improvement since his freshman year. Okay? Where do we go? I mean, I just don't. There's so many issues. I don't even know where to begin, Ross, because you get rid of Blake James. You get rid of Manny Diaz. You get rid of Coach Packey. Like, it's this program is literally it's not an all-time low, but you just lost to a 2-5 Michigan State team. Like, I am disgusted. I am literally livid.
I don't know what direction you take, except if you're Manny Diaz pushing the big red button that basically says blow everything up and start over. He has that 5-year deal, which actually gives him a kind of a luxury in this aspect. A lot of coaches in his position, coaches in his position, a first-year head coach, they wouldn't have a chance to come in, screw up, and then be able to start over again because they just don't have the years on their contract to do it. Right. If he actually blows the team up right now, it could actually give us some hope for the future. It's sad to say that. While this season would be an absolute mess, but at least what we'd see is the young guys getting snaps going through their bumps and bruises, maturing, and bringing something new to the table. If we go out there and it's the same starters again every week, we're going to keep having battles against mediocre teams, and we're going to lose to teams we shouldn't lose to. It's plain and simple. I would rather lose to these teams by playing our young guys and showing some kind of hope for the future instead of just recycling the same garbage over and over again.
Chug Mo Beer, thank you so much for the $10 donation. Paul, this entire coaching staff must be fired. We are 2 points away from being 0-3. This is a disgrace. And why did they call this an upset? Michigan State has better coaches than Manny Diaz. I completely agree. No, here's the thing. Like I spoke with a couple former players a couple days ago. You know, I spoke with, I won't say their names. I've interviewed tons of former players as well. Nobody likes Manny Diaz. He's lost the alumni. He's lost the fan base, the heavy majority. God knows if he's lost the board of trustees yet. This whole turnover chain thing is disgusting. Seriously, what else do you want to see from him? That's it. Like, I've had enough of him. He doesn't develop his own players.
The turnover chain is the politician in him, bro. That's the all show, no substance. That's the politician in him.
What else do you want to see from Manny Diaz? Like, honestly, he hasn't developed one player he's recruited. Not one besides Gregory Rousseau. What do you want to see? Quarterman wasn't his linebacker. Pickney wasn't his linebacker. Jaquan Johnson, Redwine, those are all Al Golden recruits that I just mentioned besides Rousseau.
Who looked better when they were younger. Remember, those guys looked better when they were younger. When they got with Manny for a couple years, they started to look worse.
Listen, like, this defense is awful. We run a 4-2-5 scheme. That isn't, like, the linebacker position unit has literally gone obsolete. The recruits that we, like, literally, I hate to mention one name. I went over in a Zoom chat I was on last night. We picked up his commitment. He should have never been a take. Omar Graham Jr. should have been a take. We are looking at, like, the strangest prospects at the linebacker position unit that we've recruited over the years. It's horrendous. It's awful.
I don't get it. I don't know what Omar Graham doesn't offer that from the guys that we're going after right now. At least, if anything, he offers a physical presence. At least if he comes in, he can lay the wood. He can thump some guys. That's for damn sure. Right now, our guys not only can't tackle, they don't thump. They don't show their speed very often. And if they do show their speed, they take bad angles, so it doesn't really matter. And it's just odd, bro. It pisses me off so bad knowing that not knowing, but at least assuming strongly that we're not going to see any freaking changes, dude. There's nothing in Manny Diaz's history that shows me he's willing to make the ultimate changes. Little ginky things here and there, blah, blah, blah. That's the politician in him. Do something little, blow it up, make it seem like it's more important than it is. That really doesn't matter. That's the politician, used car salesman bullshit.
Here's the thing. Like, people are saying, yo, I want Luke Fickell from Cincinnati. Like, we got him. Like, I honestly think USC, like, their AD currently was the AD at Cincinnati. Yep. Like, he hired Luke Fickell at Cincinnati. I think that's going to be an easy hire. Greg Schiano's at Rutgers. Does he want to come back to Miami? I don't know. Mario Cristobal wants nothing to do with the University of Miami. That's evident. He wants nothing to do with it. Plus, even if Miami does make an offer in the buyout, the whole shebang, they can literally throw him $10 million. I mean, like, they're Nike. They have more money than literally the entire United States of America to a certain extent. We're screwed. This is literally, Blake James put himself in the biggest hole. And this is what happens once again when you make 6-hour coaching decisions, when you hire Temple's second choice, and when you're obsessed with, you don't have a vision. Blake James, by the way, was hot. His only experience as an athletic director was from Maine. Maine does not have a football program. They have a hockey program. They have a basketball program. They have a baseball program. They do not have football. Okay. Yep. He's never overseen a football program. So when you put him in position, he's going to make awful choices. And this was an awful choice because Manny Diaz's resume is dog shit. He was the defensive coordinator at Mississippi State and Miami. That's it. Wow. What a great resume for the University of Miami head coaching job. Jesus. Mark Richt literally spent like 18 years at Georgia, battled Nick Saban, Urban Meyer for literally conference titles. National, like, he could have competed for BCS bowl games. Yet After him, we hire some guy who's literally a fluke who doesn't show up against LSU, Wisconsin, Alabama, Clemson, North Carolina. He's a fluke. And obviously, he doesn't show up against Michigan State either. In the words of Warren Sapp, he's a fake Cuban. He doesn't speak Spanish. He represents nothing of the city of Miami, by the way. So that whole little Tony Montana scarf.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know what's the big deal about that. Like, honestly,
Bullshit.
I don't know what was the obsession over him. He represents nothing of Miami, and his father tore down the Orange Bowl. He was the mayor of Miami when the Orange Bowl was being torn down, and he gave it the green light, by the way. So what is the big deal about Coach Manuel Alberto Diaz, who doesn't speak a lick of Spanish?
I don't know. I can't tell you. But here's something to think about, Canes fans. You know, Mac Brown was seen as washed. He was seen as the game had passed him and that he would never be a viable coach again. Remember, Mac Brown's the guy that fired Manny Diaz because he saw how bad he was in big games. And then not only did he fire him, he joined the ACC to go against Manny Diaz, and then he beat the dog shit out of the University of Miami last year. He beat the living shit out of Manny Diaz last year. The guy he fired, bro.
Right.
The guy he fired. So 167-year-old Mac Brown found a way to be clever and more updated in his scheme than Manny Diaz has, who's half his age. Yeah. It's crazy.
Yes, for those of you wondering, the mayor of Miami was Manny Diaz's father during the destruction of the Orange Bowl.
Yep.
And when you go to the Orange Bowl, it says the city welcomes you to the Orange Bowl. The city of Miami welcomes you to the Orange Bowl. He was the mayor of the city of Miami. He gets the final green light over that. That was his decision. So, that was his father. And plus, Manny Diaz his alma mater is Florida State. I understand Ron Frazier, one of the greatest college baseball coaches of all time, went to Florida State as well. So I understand that per se doesn't matter where their alma mater went to, but it's just funny. His father tore down to the Orange Bowl. He went to Florida State. He doesn't speak a lick of Spanish by any means, and his resume is god awful. So I can go on plenty of rants. I'm not a Manny Diaz fan. I hated the hire. I liked his vision of the transfer portal. That was all. Go ahead.
Diaz is not Miami. Manny Diaz is not Miami. That he had this whole thing coming on that Miami was Manny Diaz and Manny Diaz was Miami. That he just lived and breathed Miami. It was in his blood. That's bullshit. He's not Miami. He's not Miami at all. He's front running. He's pretending to be from Miami, basically, is what it's coming down to. And once again, the politician in him brings that out all the time.
Yeah, no, I'm just tired of the excuses. It was App State showed us things on film we've never seen before.
Bullshit.
App State does this to everyone on the road, yet they've literally lost to Marshall by 10 points on the road against Marshall. I don't know where in West Virginia Marshall plays. Huntington? I think they play in Huntington. Something like that. Like, they don't do that to everyone on the road. Like, you just got embarrassed by App State. Okay, like a G5 program. I didn't know what G5 was until Ross reminded me what G5 was when I came on the show with him. Okay, group of 5. I'm disgusted. I don't know where we go from here, whether it's fire Blake James, Manny Diaz. I'll tell you what, the Coastal's always in play because the Coastal is probably the worst division in the state of college football. So it's always going to be in play. And you know what? Guess what? North Carolina has the best quarterback, arguably, in college football. He's one of the best. So he probably will put up 600 yards passing the football against Miami. And Phil Longo, he's a better offensive coordinator than Manny Diaz will ever be facing other coordinators or whatever you want. Than Brett Lashley will ever be another offensive coordinator. I am livid right now. I'm just pissed off, Ross. Literally. We're probably going to finish 3rd or 4th in the ACC Coastal.
Here's the thing is we get rid of Manny Diaz. What the hell do we do after that? There's no one on the staff that gives me any hope.
Does Shiano want this job, Ross? I have no idea. Chip Kelly's buyout's $9 million.
But even this year, like think about it. If we got rid of him this year, who's on staff as an interim coach? Who the hell could I don't want to hand it to Lashley.
Rob Likens? I don't even know. Rob Likens? Ed Reed? Ed Reed's just going to take over?
Yeah, Rob Likens, a guy who pretty much kind of failed at his OC shot. Lashley, who's failed here. We can't give it to Garen Justice. We can't give it to T-Rob. So what the hell do you even do? So Manny Diaz probably feels really comfortable right now with that 5-year deal and knowing that we're kind of financially bound to him. He probably feels really comfortable.
So here's my thing, Ross. Like people are screaming, Ed Reed for head coach, interim head coach. Like,
No,
does
no,
Ed Reed want to recruit 365
nope,
days out of the year? Like, do you
nope.
understand? Like Ed Reed smoking cigars, like he's chilling on the sidelines. He just retired after a Hall of Fame career, NFL tenure or whatever you want to call it as a player. Like, does he want to recruit 365 days out of the year and kiss ass to recruits to come to program? Because ultimately, that's what you do as a head coach. You have your staff, you coach football games, you assemble the scheme for the upcoming season or whatever you want to call it. You have spring football, fall practice, and then you have to kiss ass to recruits to come to the program. Literally 24 hours before signing day, you can literally work your ass off for a recruit 364 days out of the year, and then he decides, I don't want to go to your program. Does Ed Reed want that? I don't think so.
Well, there's a reason that Deion Sanders is coaching Jacksonville State and not coaching, Mississippi State.
Exactly.
You
That's
got
a
it.
great point.
Just because you have a name doesn't mean you're a good football coach. That's just not how it works. Some of the best football coaches in the world really didn't play much football in their lives, honestly. Don't get me wrong. The opposite of that can happen as well, but it doesn't entitle somebody to being a good head coach. It doesn't mean that they're going to come in and have the X's and O's figured out for college football.
Right.
I just Ed Reed is an amazing player with an incredible football mind, but he's got an easy job right now. He's getting paid to kind of kick back and just be kind of a figurehead. He's not going to want to lose that kind of gig and have to go do all this extra work for imagine it. Is he going to want to do all that extra hard work for Blake James? Knowing Blake James is his AD? No, I don't think so.
Listen, and look, there's a great comment here. I'm trying to scroll it up. Great players don't always translate to great coaches. I know it's different sports. Ted Williams, one of the best hitters of all time.
Yeah.
Awful manager. Okay. Awful. Horrendous manager. Okay. Just because you're a good football coach, I understand players want to translate. They want to play for you. You're being coached by one of the best. Doesn't always mean you're going to be a good head coach. So I don't know if Ed Reed will be the right guy. I just don't think he wants to put up with recruiting and all the BS that comes with being a head coach 365 days of the year.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what, though. Manny Diaz's resume, there's probably I can name you 100 coaches who have a better resume than Manny Diaz. 100. Yeah. And we'll start off with position coaches as well.
Yeah. Yeah. At least guys who would offer more excitement and more creativity, guys with a better vision for the future. While Manny, we might have heard a little bit of a vision that he had for the future, we've now come to find out that it was all bullshit. We've come to find out that it was all talk and no substance.
Absolutely.
So I would gladly have somebody take his role, even if they're not experienced right now, if they just simply offered creativity, some kind of hope for the future. But the thing is that, we don't want to get stuck in this cycle to where all of a sudden we're depending on unproven coaches when you have an AD who can't make good hires.
Right.
So it really starts at the top. Exactly. I don't want Blake James to be in charge of our next hire. So if we got rid of Manny Diaz today, Blake James would be in charge of our next hire. And I don't want that. I want both of them gone.
And here's the thing. Blake James, the Manny Diaz hire, I don't think Manny Diaz gets fired anytime soon. I think he's going to wait out the season because at the end of the day, he's 1-2 and technically can win the rest of his games and finish 10-2 and then play Clemson in the ACC title game because the ACC is that bad. Yeah. But we're going to drop a couple games. We're probably going to lose to North Carolina. Pittsburgh is a team I think we'll lose to. NC State's one at home. I think they're a decent program as well.
Dude, Virginia always plays us tough for something. Virginia likes to play us tough,
Yeah. But no, I don't think there's going to be an instant firing tomorrow. Absolutely not. This is an awful loss. I will say this. If you see Blake James make a public statement about Manny Diaz, that's when things are working behind the scenes.
Yes.
Where Blake James tentatively is a quiet man.
Yes.
He doesn't make these statements publicly. So that's when I think something is rolling behind the scenes with the board of trustees, anyone in power. If Blake James makes a public statement, I am livid, Ross. And I think the public knows it. We have 187 people joining us 35 minutes in. Ross was doing the Mark Rogers TV show. Got to support him as well. He's doing an outstanding job. And what haven't we covered, Ross, that you want to go over?
Man, we hit on a lot of it because a lot of it's all just kind of under the same umbrella of just straight up garbage. That's the problem right now. We hit on Mallory. We don't know what to do at tight end now. We have no idea what to do at tight end. We don't know what to do at running back. We won't even let the other guys get opportunities at running back. We're obviously clueless on our offensive line. Like, we're absolutely clueless on what we want to do there on a consistent basis week to week. The defensive line, Leonard Taylor needs some freaking snaps every once in a while. These guys aren't getting the job done. Let your five-star interior defensive lineman get some freaking snaps. Like, what the hell's the problem? He can play 4 games and not burn his red shirt. What the hell are we waiting for? Like, these guys need to get in the game. But the seniority, dude, seniority still exists. I watched Chance Williams out there running around making plays today. I saw him do it again. But you know they're not going to give him all the snaps. They're going to rotate that garbage in behind him and limit his chances. I don't get it. I just don't get it. Chance Williams is the best defensive end we have right now. Seriously.
I will say this. Chance Williams, this is kind of like deja vu. Like, you saw Patchen start over Rousseau, McLeod starts over Chance Williams, Leonard Taylor's not getting any snaps,
Yep.
James Williams, Cam Kitchens, they're playing like literally 2 snaps a game. Oh, by the way, Amari Carter's literally started over Frierson. Last year, I thought he made a big step forward. He's literally not getting any action whatsoever, which is, by the way, Gilbert Frierson, he went to Coral Gables Senior High School. Okay, he's from Coconut Grove, Florida. Like, he's a local recruit from Miami. Like, he literally lives 5 minutes away from campus, yet you start an outsider from, I think, where the hell did Amari Carter go to school? Like, Lake something? Like, you're starting, like, literally, if you want to attract locality and recruits, like, Gilbert Frierson just got benched because you're starting, like, a 6-year senior who's been here since, like, 1987. I'm being sarcastic, but, like, he's been here for a while. So
the thing is, I don't understand with the Amari Carter move is, you know, there's a role he can play. The downhill thumper, helping us in the run game. Frierson is so much more versatile, though. He is so much more of a versatile player that can do so many, can offer different things on a snap-to-snap basis. You know, there's situations that if Amari Carter's out there and they audible out of a run play and they go to a certain kind of a empty backfield pass play, I get worried, bro. I get worried if Carter ends up having to tag along with one of those receivers. If Frierson's out there, I at least feel a little more comfortable because he offers that athleticism and that little bit more of that length that we want to see at that position. And I don't quite understand what Amari Carter showed in practice that made him so much better than Frierson to start.
Loriano Ali, $2 donation. Greatly appreciate it. Great show. We greatly appreciate your support. We're just keeping it real, man. Like, I'm honestly, I'm livid. I went to the game. I am tired. I'm exhausted over this nonsense. I'm tired of the jewelry. And I just want to see us compete, fight, and win games we're supposed to win. We were favorites by 6 points at home. Mel Tucker comes in with a 2-5 team this past season. We lose by 21 points. I am grossed out. I am disgusted. Manny Diaz, you deserve all this criticism, and I'm sick and tired of your off-the-field nonsense because it is pure stupidity.
Yep.
Okay? The jewelry, the touchdown rings, the turnover chain, it is an embarrassment of the University of Miami, and I hate your vision. I hate how you market the program as well. And by the way, it's not just me, it's the fan base and the alumni base cannot stand you as well as a head coach. And Blake James, congratulations, because you really put yourself in a messed up situation. I was about to curse there. I held myself back. You're next, buddy. You're next. Thank you. Appreciate Solomon. He went to Palm Beach Lakes High School in Palm Beach County.
So like you said, Paul, you know, you are a fan that went to the game. You spent your money to go watch the Canes. You spent your time to go do that. Somebody like me, while I wasn't at the game, I had to get up at 7 a.m. for this game because kickoff for me was at 8 a.m. You know, I'm 4 hours behind in Alaska. So an 8 a.m. kickoff. So I got up to support the Canes at 7:30 in the morning, basically, just kind of half awake, kind of trying to figure out what's going on. I don't know why I wake up to do that shit, dude. Why the hell am I putting myself through this? I don't need to find a parking spot. I don't need to do all that stuff that everyone does that goes to the game. I don't know why the hell I do it. I put myself through this, bro, because I love the team, but damn it, man, I'm getting so sick of it, bro. So sick of regretting everything.
Jahan, thank you so much for the $2 donation. We greatly appreciate it and your support. Taking time out of your afternoon to watch us talk Canes football and nonsense about Manny Diaz. Well, it's not nonsense. It's just our anger towards him. Will Healy from University of Charlotte. Honestly, Will Healy has a better resume than Manny Diaz. He has head coaching experience. So therefore, yeah, I think he'd be a great fit for this job. I think anyone who has a better resume than Manny Diaz is appropriate to get an interview because Manny Diaz's resume was Temple's second choice, and it was god awful. And I'm sick of it. I cannot stand Manny Diaz. I'm being honest, guys. This maybe from past videos, I was sugarcoating it. This is me being real. I cannot stand Manny Diaz. I hated the hire. The only thing I liked was his vision of the transfer portal. But I am disgusted by Manny Diaz and his sideline shenanigans and everything that turnover chain stands for. I'm tired of it. That does not define the University of Miami. Our 5 national titles and the amount of NFL players we produce from this program defines the University of Miami. Okay? So I literally hate, and that's a strong word. Hate is a strong word. I dislike Manny Diaz.
Something stood out to me there that you said, and you talked about how you kind of sugar-coated certain things. I want to be real with the fan base of that as well. Me and Paul are both guilty of that. We have sugar-coated some of this stuff to make it seem a little more applicable and make it seem like we were on the train and stuff. But you know what? We support the team and we do that, but it's time to be real about it. Some of that shit we said, yes, it was sugar-coated, and maybe, for us, it was hard to say. But we said it just because we want things to be good. But we don't have to support crap. Nobody has to support bad football. They simply don't have to.
Ross, there are literally over dozens of predictions that we were going to beat Alabama. And in my head, I'm like, you guys are literally that is the most absurd comments ever. I'm being respectful towards your opinion because you could be right at the end of the day. Yep. If John says we're going to beat Alabama 35-30, he could be right. We still haven't played the football game, and I'm being respectful towards that. I'm going to respect it. But seriously, guys, we're not going to beat Alabama. We are nowhere near that program. We're nowhere near Clemson. Okay? We're in a shootout with Louisville, in Louisville, Kentucky. Michigan State, we lost to them by 21 at home. Imagine East Lansing. So we're nowhere near Michigan State as well. So we're literally competing with teams in the Coastal. That's our identity, is the Virginias and the Virginia Techs in Pittsburgh. And by the way, UNC blew us out by 600 rushing yards, not total yards, rushing yards, and 800 total yards. So we're nowhere near UNC as well. They're going to kick our ass in Chapel Hill.
I was just going to say that. I've seen fans making these comments about how UNC lost talent and that we'll be able to catch up to them this year. That's not what's going to catch us up to UNC. Coaching is what's going to catch us up to UNC. We're not going to just magically be better coaches or have better coaches against Mac Brown. Mac Brown has the blueprint to beat Manny Diaz. The blueprint is out there. It is out there for everybody, and they don't do anything to try to vary from it or alter from it. And so, of course, predictability is the name of the game for Miami on defense and offense. Until we change something, the same blueprint to beat Miami will be the same blueprint we see every damn week.
24/7 Canes, $5 donation. Greatly appreciated, bro. Bring me Joe Brady and Danny White as athletic director. If the board of trustees doesn't want to make a change, let's go down to the athletic center with boxing gloves on. That is a lawsuit, my friend. But I'll tell you, I think Danny White, isn't he the athletic director at Tennessee or University of Central Florida? I could be wrong. Someone please correct me. He's one or the other. I know he was at Florida Atlantic and made a big switch. Listen, Joe Brady's 31. He already has a better resume than Manny Diaz. So I don't even care who we interview. I really don't. I don't care who we interview. Everyone is better than Manny Diaz's resume. It's horrendous. And Temple wasn't even their first option to hire Manny Diaz. It was Mike Elko. So why, as a program, do we view ourselves as below as Temple standards and go out and hire Manny Diaz, not in 2 days, not in 3 days, not in 24 hours, in 6 hours after we publicly stated we were going to do a national coaching search? This starts at Blake James. You get rid of him. You get rid of Manny, and literally, I don't care who you hire, it's going to be better than Manny Diaz. I'll tell you what.
Yeah, it's not hard to beat out what we're seeing right now. Here's my thing, though. I like Brady a lot, dude. I like Brady a lot. I do. But what does Joe Brady see at the University of Miami that makes him want to leave the NFL or have his NFL chances basically put on hold just to come to Miami to take a shot in the dark. I don't think he's at a point in his career where he has to do that. He has respect already. He'll get chances at better places. So I just don't see that he would even want to come to Miami. I don't know if we'd even be willing to pay the money that it would take to lure him to Miami. Do you?
By the way, Ross, not to cut you off, with the Joe Brady thing going to the NFL, luring him because like he'd be a fool if he wants his job. To be honest, it's like literally a trap. Steve literally mentioned, "You think this year is bad, bro? We got Texas A&M and Clemson next year away. You think we're gonna beat Texas A&M with an underclassman quarterback, Jake Garcia or Tyler Van Dyke? I mean, hey, anything could happen, right? Like literally, we are screwed next year. So when we keep Manny Diaz, it's going to be even worse next year because this schedule is fairly easy. App State sucks. Michigan State is not. They're an okay team. They're not like elite. They're not great. They're above average to good. I concur so much right now. I am so mad. I'm just disgusted.
I got a question for you, man. And we've
Yeah.
seen this happen. We've seen this happen before. We watched it happen just this last year with guys like Banda. What happens if we continue to keep the same course? We don't make any moves, but a guy like DVD gets a better offer to go take a chance at a smaller school somewhere with a bigger job. What do we do if we lose DVD? Where he's not even one of our main guys, but we don't have anybody to replace him. We don't have the next guy set up for that kind of stuff. So it's not just the main guys we're having issues with. Some of the guys behind the scenes that are putting in good work, that are actually doing some good things and recruiting, we could lose some of them because they might just go, man, I don't want to be on this ship no more. I don't want to go down with the Manny Diaz ship. So they could take chances elsewhere they might not normally take. So we got to be prepared for that.
Travis states, I see everyone saying fire Manny. Who are we going to bring in? We don't pay for coaches. Yep. Well, Travis, in my opinion, we paid $4 million to Temple to buy out Manny Diaz. We gave him a 5-year contract. Therefore, we do pay for coaches. That is under Manny Diaz's, under Blake James's watch. Okay. Yeah. You literally pay Temple $4 million to get Manny Diaz. Okay. You didn't pay FAU to get Lane Kiffin. You didn't pay Oregon to get Mario Cristobal. You didn't pay Florida to get Dan Mullen. You didn't pay Rutgers to get Greg Schiano. Like, you literally paid Temple, which in my opinion, like Temple is like, I don't even know if they're a basketball school. When I think of Temple, I think of Eddie Jones. That's what I think of. And I think it was Coach Chaney. Was that his name, the basketball coach there? What the hell to get Manny Diaz? $4 million. And then you give him a 5-year deal? It starts with Blake James. Get him the hell away from this program. I don't care who you want to hire. I don't care if you want to hire Helen Keller. I don't care. Anyone can run a program better than Blake James.
Bad ADs do some terrible things, and they leave in their wake, in their destruction, what they leave behind. It's so hard for the next people to come in and get things right. A bad AD does so much damage. There's another school that's actually going through some issues right now that I've watched that I'm close to, at least geographically, and I'm watching what happened with their bad AD hire here is University of Washington. They're going through this with the young head coach Jimmy Lake, who was a DC. Just like Manny Diaz, first time ever getting a head coaching job, but, was seen as young and innovative and the right guy to hire. So they made that move. And so far, they opened their season losing to Montana, bro. They lost to University of Montana. They couldn't put up points against that Montana defense at the University of Washington. I've watched what this AD has done by crippling that program, by Chris Peterson not even wanting to be hardly part of it anymore. And I just don't want Blake James to be able to do this anymore. I don't want him to be able to destroy us anymore, and he has, because every year he's here, it will get worse. I promise.
No, it's very, very frustrating. I think at the end of the day, the fan base wants to win football games. And I think we're tired of losing to mediocre opponents, playing down to our opponent's level, especially when you have your starting quarterback returning, who's the face of college football, and your entire O-line returning, and your running back room was returning previously besides suspensions, injuries, and the offense is not moving. Your best players consistently are from the transfer portal. As example, Charleston Rambo probably had her best day as a receiver. He's from the transfer portal. We don't develop our own. By the way, guys, quick thing before we wrap it up. We had over 230 people joining the live show. If you guys can
Thank
hit the
you.
like button, I would greatly appreciate it.
Yes, thumbs
Just
up.
small gesture. Small gesture.
It
Hit the
helps us
like
out a
button.
lot.
How about this? Hit the like button if you can't stand Blake James. If you can't stand Manny Diaz, hit the like button for that.
Yep.
Ross, we're at 51 minutes. My voice is exhausted. I've done with the rants. I'm tired of the Manny Diaz Kool-Aid. Everyone is entitled to their own opinion, but this is my opinion. This is my YouTube channel, so I'm going to say whatever I want because it's mine. Anything else you got to say?
No, man. I mean, when I did my post game here with Mark Rogers, with the same conversations, bro, we're having. There's nobody that's okay with this. Nobody is simply settling on this anymore. The Manny Diaz bandwagon is getting smaller and smaller, and I'm sure as hell off of it. I was off it a little while ago, but I'll publicly now openly state it. I am absolutely off of the Manny Diaz bandwagon, and I want him the hell out of the University of Miami.
Thank you, everyone who joined the show. We hit over 230 people live. I do this on the fly. I don't announce it. I just go live when I want to. That's the beauty of YouTube. I want to thank you, everyone, for your comments, your support. We could not have done this without you. Everyone who donated to the channel, we greatly appreciate your donations. At the end of the day, if this is the new Miami, me and Ross, and I think a lot of people in the fan base want nothing to do with it. Hope everyone has a great rest of their weekend. Go Canes.
Yeah. Yeah.